Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Tonight is going to be a Chew the Fat night where Danny and I just have a good time talking back and forth about what we've been up to, and maybe it's some things that might spur on a question or a conversation that you can have with us or with other dads in the group or whatever. But we're just having a laid back night tonight. I don't know. Right now, it's actually just a perfect night out here in Cincinnati right now. Like I'm actually looking out the window right now, and I got sherbet skies and crickets, and
Nice.
windows are open in the house, and it's nice. It's September, so gotta love it. How about you, man?
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah, it's beautiful here. It's really it's really funny because people have talked all my life about how go into summer and go into fall, and that's when you get out your warm clothes and start making soup and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't. And we didn't even have seasonal clothes for the kids really. I
Oh,
had one thing that was like all their gloves and scarves and stuff like that, and I didn't have any we didn't put it seasonal clothes away because we just wore them. You could go swimming in October, November. I mean, it might be a little cold, but it's really nothing. But up here it is hilarious because it went Labor Day weekend,
they shut
and
it all down.
it really did. Everything's
Yep.
gone, and I'm like, where is everybody? It was
It'll
amazing.
open all back up on Memorial Day weekend.
Right, right. And it's just this is for me really cool. But the weather is beautiful. It's got a really nice, like just slightly breezy day. We've got all the windows open, and
Nice.
the mosquitoes and the flies are kind of pain, but not terrible.
Yeah.
But compared to Georgia, yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm happy. We can stay here.
We
I'm
might
ready
get you
for
in a
cold.
we might get you in a sweatshirt after all.
I'm going to pull out the long sleeve shirt sometime in the next 6 weeks, I swear.
That's some of my favorite weather is getting to pull out long sleeves and
Yeah,
sweatshirts. That's when HomeDadCon happens. I like that's probably what I'll be wearing most of the time when
yeah,
we're
yeah.
out and about. During the day, it's not too bad because the sun's out. It'll keep it kind of warm. But yeah, at nighttime, I'll definitely probably just like long sleeve it and walk around because that way I don't have to tote a jacket anywhere. But yeah,
Yeah.
what
Well,
was what was last week like for you? You guys started school like that was your first
yeah.
official week, wasn't it?
Wednesday, Thursday, we didn't get a full week yet, but yeah, we got Wednesday, I think, and it was great.
Yeah,
They went 2 days, and then they're back with me for three, and now they went back to school again today.
nice.
So it was good. The kids all seemed to like their classmates, like their classes, like their teachers overall. There's a couple of little, the the differences between state to state as far as educational. There's things that they're doing now that they've already done, and they're already like, okay, it's the third day. I don't want to do this for a semester. And even my youngest, or no, actually Marcus, so he's 8, third grade, and he's like, we're doing division. And I'm like, awesome, division's a great skill. And he goes, I learned that already. And I'm like, dude, you're 8. You can't have this attitude. Come on, man. Um, and of course, part of it is just giving your teacher an opportunity to figure out where you're at.
Right. Oh
They
yeah.
have to
Well, that's
set up a
usually what it is.
curriculum. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I told him, I said, once you're in the class for a couple of days or even a week or two, and she can see that you don't have a problem with it, she'll challenge you.
Yeah.
She's ready. That's her job.
Those first couple of weeks, man, those are assessment weeks. Like
Right.
the teachers are assessing what it is that the kids retain from the prior year. Like that was
Exactly.
the thing. Like
If anything.
yeah, like that's like my son Hezekiah brought home a whole bunch of stuff like his first spelling test. Man, I
Mhm.
tell you what, his teacher, she crams everything into a Friday. It's like math test, spelling test, Bible scripture,
Yeah.
memorization test, like all that in there. And I mean, he's got the fortitude to be able to pull it off, and he did. He did
Good.
great. Like,
Good.
it's funny because like he's such a kid of like, well, if I don't get 100, then I didn't do well. And like we've had to explain to him, we're like, dude, if you even just miss one, like you're golden, like you're doing
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. And like he missed one and then got a bonus question, which the bonus questions were like, or bonus words were really difficult. And he got those right or whatever, one of those right or something like that. So it outset itself. But
Cool.
even like math stuff, like their little speed tests that they do or whatever, that was one of those things where basically with the speed test, like he ended up getting it, he knocked it out and got it done. And that was one of the things that near the end of the year, it seemed like he had the most difficulty
Yeah.
finishing on time. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun to see like where your kids pick things up where they left off. You're making me jealous right now, smoking a cigar. I have like my last dogwood cigar sitting in my humidor right now. At some point, I'm gonna light that thing up here. Actually, I might light it up this weekend after everything's done with my wife's testing and things like
Yeah.
that. Because
Time to celebrate.
uh,
We should talk about that too.
I
But
finally get my wife back after Friday when she finishes up her test and passes. Yeah, I mean, so well that kind of goes with what happened with us last week. I mean,
mhm.
so Friday, my wife got a call or got a message from one of the directors and said, "Hey, how's your day going?" She's like, "It's going good." She's like, "Okay." You got a few minutes to jump on a Zoom call? She's like, "Sure." And this, just to kind of give backstory. So my wife in April had applied for a manager's position, and then in June she actually interviewed for it. And it was after we came back from our trip, and then they passed on her because they wanted her to work on a few things. And so she kind of figured that it wasn't going to happen. And I told her to just keep it positive because
Yeah.
honestly, I think they were doing so many moving parts that they put so many new people in place. They had to get them situated before they let anybody else in.
Right.
So
Right.
I just told her to be calm about it, and just be at peace with the fact that, you've got a solid job and they're not telling you have to go back on the phones, which is the thing that she didn't want to do. So
Mhm.
Friday, she gets on this Zoom call and she's talking with the director, and the director's like, "Hey, you want to be on my team?" My wife is just ecstatic.
Oh
And
yeah.
I walked downstairs to the office I think I was just telling her I was leaving to go pick up the kids for school or from school or whatever. And she gets off the call and jumps out of her seat and starts screaming in the air and like hugs me. And I'm like, she's like, "I got the job." And I'm like, "Which job?" Because she had also applied after she got the no to a different position. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, "I want to be happy for you, but can you tell me which job to be
Yeah.
happy for
What are we
you
looking at?
for right now?" And she's like, "I got the team lead job." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing," because like that job comes with so many benefits. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous and a huge pay bump. Like basically
Sweet.
basically the amount of work that she is doing now and what she gets paid, she's going to be salary and not having to work as much but getting paid the same.
Nice.
Which that's the
Nice.
way to get it. Like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so to say the least, the weekend was very exciting and a lot of conversation about what ifs and all this other things of taking place. And
Mhm.
yeah, so it's very,
And
very
how many
good.
cigars she's going to buy you? Because now you're a little more budgeted, and let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not gonna push it.
we'll be at HomeDadCon in a matter of weeks, and I'll be sure to bring you one.
I appreciate that.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah, that's there. I mean, gosh, that's weeks away. Like
weeks.
it used
Yeah.
to be, like months away, and now it's weeks away. And
Mhm.
I mean, we're
What, five
talking
weeks? Are we 5?
4 weeks, I think.
4 weeks.
4 weeks, I believe.
Starts the 13th. We
It's
start the
it's
13th. I think.
it's a crazy like how quickly it just came into play. So
It's
yeah,
right there. I mean, another week, 10 days, will be under a month, and I am
yeah.
just like stoked.
Well, when this releases, it'll be 4 weeks. So yeah,
Awesome.
exactly 30 days basically.
Cool.
Because this will launch on September 14th. So yeah, 30 days to the number.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I was taking filling out paperwork for a new therapist up here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And so just basically just drove by a place and said, hey, got any openings? Because really with therapists, you just got to trial and error. You got to go in and see, if the office is what you like, and if the therapist is what you like. And
yeah,
I'm going to go interview them, which I don't know if they're ready for that. But so they gave me the paperwork, and they were talking about, it was a lot of different questions, which is fine. And, why you're coming in, and, how you are. And there was a weird one, like, do you have any goals for, how you want this to go or whatever, how you want to end up? And I'm like, I don't have any goals, I guess. I kind of want to be like, keep my balance and not go crazy. Can we do that? I guess that's a goal. Don't be crazy or whatever. But one of the questions was, and it was hilarious. It says, when's the last time you went on vacation? And I went, well, HomeDadCon last year. That's really was the last one, because any trips we've taken in between them have all been, working vacations, because I got the kids, I got, no offense, but I got the wife to take care of. I got all this stuff. I'm still doing laundry. I'm still cleaning. I'm still doing all those things. Even in a hotel, I'm still doing laundry. So, it really doesn't go away, but at HomeDadCon, it does.
Well, and
It's
it'd have been
all
2 years ago,
May.
actually,
Mhm. Well, I went
Minneapolis.
out of town for
Oh, that's right. You did.
DadCon at home. Yeah. So I went up to the mountains of Georgia and got a cabin, and
That's right.
they were fully sanitized and clean, and I didn't have to go anywhere. I got some groceries on the way up.
Yeah, you did it right, man. You did it right
Yeah.
for DadCon at home.
Yeah.
That was
Maybe
awesome.
for having to be home. Yeah. Cause I know my kids would interrupt, and I think
Oh,
most
sure.
guys, their kids would interrupt, and I'm not going to fault them for that. I've had them come in twice already tonight, just on this call. And then I'm like, what do you want? And one of them sent me a text. He's like, can I cut some block cheese for Elizabeth? I'm like, are you? Yes. We had tacos, but you want block? Go, just leave me alone. Just go.
I just want to say to all
cheese.
those TikTok moms out there that put videos out that say that their kids hunt them down when dad's around to like ask them for a snack. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. I see those all the time, and every time I'm like, we get that. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't know what to tell you, lady. Like, we're in the same boat.
The only time they seek out mom in this house is when they want something like cookies that we have. We don't have a lot of sweets all over the place, but if there's a cookies or candy or something like that, then they'll go find mom, or hot chocolate. And Marnie's like, yeah, sure. You could have a cookie. I'm like,
of course. Yep.
Of course you did.
Of course.
At 10 minutes to bedtime. Let's go. Yeah, that's fine. It's just a challenge. It's just one more obstacle, one more way to level up as a dad.
It's all the balance, man. It's all the balance. But yeah, so that was pretty much how our week went. We didn't really do anything for the weekend. Labor Day weekend was chill. Here in Cincinnati, they have a huge fireworks show down on the riverfront, but like,
cool.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of people down there. And
wow.
I was just like, I've been there before, and it's nuts. And like, you can hear the fireworks from the river here at our house. Like, you can't see them, but boy, you can hear them. And it is like a war zone. And like, we didn't mention it to the kids or anything, because we knew they would want to go and ask. And it was just like, I'm not going down there around a ton of people. It's going to be just a complete, chaos. Like it always is. And so I'm putting Hezekiah to bed in his room. His window faces the river, that area. So I'm reading to him, and I'm just hearing boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, maybe he won't hear it. And I just keep reading, and his air conditioner's going, and I get done, and he's like, Papa, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to sleep with them fireworks going off. I'm like, they'll be done here in just a few minutes, man. I'm like, just listen to them. I was like, just the booms themselves will be really cool. I was like, and I told him, I was like, that's actually happening down by the ballpark, and he knows how far that is from us. It's, it's a good 20-minute drive, 15-minute drive from us, and to be able to hear them, that's something. And so he was like, can we go to that sometime? And I'm like, yeah, when you're older.
Sometime.
Well, because
when you can drive, that's no.
Well, they don't let you bring food in.
Yeah. And that's not going to work.
No. And they used to, like back in the day. But you also have to get down there early to like get a seat and stuff.
Yeah,
And
camp
then you're
out kind
once
of.
you're in, you're gated in, and it's like
Yeah,
you have just all the food that's there. And so there are other places that you can go to, and it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I know this friend that lives on this hill. Can I come hang out with you? And you have to park at the bottom of the hill wherever you can find parking and walk like the mile or 2 miles up the hill into the residential area
yeah,
to
yeah.
hang out kind of deal. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool show. They push barges together in the river, and they just it's
Hmm.
massive because you can sit on both sides, the Kentucky and the Ohio
Yeah, I
side.
was
And
gonna say, got to be
yeah,
great views all over.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's a cool show, and it's all done to music. And so
Yeah,
like you can listen to one of the local rock radio stations, and all of it like plays to it. So it's neat.
that's cool.
The year that Corey and I went, um, we actually got to see a Harrier jet
Oh,
fly. Like it flew over, and it flew over the bridges. And then this pilot was cocky,
they
and
all are.
oh yeah, this guy especially, like this guy was Maverick through and through. Like he came down and went underneath the bridge,
Yeah,
and then shot up from there off the river and just blasted water everywhere. I mean, he was far enough
yeah,
away, nobody got wet, but man, it was a show.
yeah, yeah.
So that was pretty cool because I've seen Harrier jets do some pretty wild stuff,
Well,
just because they have them
yeah,
on Navy ships all the time. But it
vertical
was,
takeoff is the best thing. I mean, I know like
yeah,
as far as aerodynamics and stuff, it may not be the best, but I absolutely love it.
oh yeah, I've
Just like, yeah, go straight up, baby, and then take off.
yep. On two different occasions I've seen them. That was that one, and when I was at the Indy 500, they had one that it hovered.
Oh,
They had the stealth bomber fly over, and then the Harrier flew over, and they sang like he was there right at the end of I think like the national anthem or something like that, and he just
nice.
hovered over between turns 1 and 2, and our seats were right there, and I'm
Oh,
watching him, and he's just chilling there, just hovering, and all of a sudden at the end of it, he just takes off. And we're like, oh, it was so
right.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was a memory that I will never forget.
Yeah, yeah. What an effect too.
Yeah. Well,
Just to be hanging there.
we had an air show. We have an old there's an old airport here. Actually, it's where American Airlines started. So there was an air show, and there was a B-17 flying over on all
Oh,
weekend too.
wow.
So you
Wow.
hear sir
Right.
like
Yeah.
over the house like every
Yeah.
hour.
God, that must have been amazing.
It was cool. I kept trying to catch it, and the one time I thought I was gonna get it, it went a different direction. I could just hear it. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
We,
Like P-51s and all kinds of stuff were
oh,
flying
cool.
around.
Air shows, I've never been to one, but I've been in areas where, like Dobbins Air Force Base, which was right over Marietta in Georgia, and you would drive by on the weekends, and there's a large state highway that goes through there, 41, and you would just get out there and drive by, and you'd see them, and everybody's rubbernecking.
Yeah.
And you got cops going up and down the road going whoop whoop whoop, come on, get moving, yelling at everybody. Our old house had over close to us a town called Winder, and they had a National Guard post there, and they
Mm.
had a Black Hawk station there, and it would be back over, and you just thump, 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 and it's just like that's amazing. And the kids, you could hear it coming, they'd run outside looking for it.
Yep.
And they would go high enough to where they were safe most of the time. They had a few times where they got, I don't know the terms, but I'm saying on the deck because that's what I
Low
think
clearance.
Maverick
Yeah.
would have said. Yeah, and they're just like right above the trees. I'm sure they
Hmm.
were well above the trees, but it felt like they were right there. It's
Well,
just amazing.
you being in Wisconsin, I'm jealous because one of the bigger air shows actually is up in your area.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how far you are from Oshkosh.
I don't either.
Okay. So so you'll have to look it up, but Oshkosh has a huge air show. Like I've not been to it before, but
Uh-huh.
one of my uncles who is like he loves aviation. He's been there a few times, and I just haven't made it up there yet. But Oshkosh they put on a big air show.
Mhm.
So I imagine just being in Wisconsin, you can't be too far from it, honestly. So
Yeah, yeah. There's not
definitely
much that's far from you here. It
right.
seems like everything's like, well, at the most 2 hours, the most right
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Dells.
and talking about air shows, I mean, we had Joe Saladino on, a few months ago talking about beer casts,
Here. Mhm.
but one of his big things is he loves to take photography, and he has couple. He has like an air show or two out his way that he goes to, because I mean they have the naval base and stuff out there because being out there in Washington. But man, some of the pictures that I've seen him take of
Yeah.
that are amazing. Like
Yeah.
I'll put a link in because some of his air stuff is awesome. I mean, like he's got some amazing shots of planes, trick planes, and just all that kind of thing. And well, too,
I'd
for
love to see it.
yeah, and I mean that's the thing with this year for HomeDadCon that's really cool because if you're into aviation, you can go up to the National Air Force Museum and tour through like 4 hangars of airplanes starting from like the very beginning up to now and get a walk through some of them and just get super close to a lot of history, which I
Very
love
cool.
going up. It's free, which is the other thing. So even if
That's
you're
even
not
better. Yeah, that's
even
even
better.
better.
Yeah, so anybody who's listening that just like wants something to do that's free and you end up in Ohio, go to Dayton and
Yeah.
go to that museum because it's amazing.
I could just hear it. Dad, it's raining. What are we going to do today? We're going to go to the Air Museum again.
Yep.
What? It's free. Let's just go. we can have snacks on the way and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a snow day and I can get there 45 minutes, bang, I'm going. I'm taking the kids. Like that's not a far drive at all.
Yeah.
Especially now that I have a bigger vehicle, I have no problem going up there. Not so much in the Prius, but I'll definitely take the Highlander and go.
Right. Yeah. And we could talk about cars for a second if you don't mind. Because
yeah, do it.
We have the Prius, and that's Marnie's vehicle. And she bought that because she had about an hour and 15-minute drive when she got this job when she was in Georgia before COVID. And she had every day got in her car, zip, and she loved it. She had a lot of time to just decompress from work, but also to like listen to an audible book or call her mom or do all these things that she doesn't get to do like at work or whatever, and just kind of relax. And it was great. And so moving here, she was like, well, let's move about an hour away from where I'm going to work in Appleton. I'm like, sure, that's great, we do the same thing. And then it hit me, okay, so you're going to be doing this in the snow. If you have to go in the winter, because I don't know when they're going to actually go back to working in office, but she's going to have to go in maybe a couple of days. Still going to be mostly remote. But so you're going to drive your Prius, and you're good with that. You're good with that. And she looked at me. She goes, well, I mean, I think it'd be okay, wouldn't it, if I took the Suburban? And I went, yeah, no, it's not.
Like,
no,
that's
it's
my
not.
vehicle.
One, that's my vehicle. That's Dad's Suburban. Come on. I didn't work hard for that at all. That was a gift from her straight up. I don't work at all. But
like, that's how I get the kids to and fro.
And that's it. Yeah, that's how we got this, because we need to fit the kids in it. And I'm like, well, I mean, babe, if you're gone to work, you're an hour away. And I need to take the kids anywhere. We can't do it in the Prius. We won't fit. I mean, there's no way that all of us can fit in the Prius, even if you put one in the trunk, maybe, which is highly illegal and unsafe, babe. And she's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. And then the cool thing is, and this is my wife, because she's from Minnesota and she's very practical. And she said, maybe I should look at maybe getting like I don't know, an all-wheel drive, maybe a truck again. And I'm like, I love you. Yeah, you should get a truck. She's going to get an Audi or something, though. She's going to get like a sports car that has all-wheel drive. She's going to get something that's, German engineered for the snow and just going to be sleeker and snot on it. Like, I want to drive your car, But yeah, the Prius, though, has impressed the crap out of me for gas mileage.
Oh, I love Prius. I
can't believe it. I mean,
Yep.
I can't get my mind around it. I mean, I think she gets 55, almost 60 miles to the gallon on average. And I'm just like, that's a motorcycle mileage. That is insane. But, as a frugal dad, which I think all dads are frugal, whether they want to be it or not, it's just kind of part of the gene. You get a kid and you're like, oh, we got to stop spending money on stuff now. It's fine. Check the thermostat. But looking at the gas prices, how much we saved over the last 5 years, and what we pay out in gas, it's been amazing, the difference.
Does your Prius have buttons on it that allow you to put it into like a power mode and all that?
Oh yeah.
I love power mode.
Yes.
It is sports car mode
yes, it is.
for your Prius. all about that, man.
Yeah,
And it's got so much get up. Like I actually like
yeah,
if it's just me in the car, you'd think that I like stole that car. Like
yeah,
the way I drive it
yeah,
half the
right,
time, like squeal the tires going around the corners and
yeah,
everything
yeah.
else. And
It,
I have a great time with
oh,
it.
Marnie, I think the first or second time I drove her car, because I don't remember, it was probably just to keep it running during COVID or whatever, because she was driving it all. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take your car out today and I'll drive it. And she got it in about a week later, and she said, you ruined my gas mileage average. And I said, what? And she goes, my gas mileage average for the last 2 weeks has dropped precipitously, I think is the word she used. I'm like, that's that's. I mean, I went a long way though. There's a lot of stop and go traffic, and I don't. And she's like, "No, were you in power mode?" I'm like, "Every single second." Oh my god,
Yes.
it's like a rocket when you put it in power mode, man.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and it's an understandable thing because you get a lot of guys in trucks, and they're usually young guys in trucks, and they're kind of looking at you like, "We do a little Prius," And I get that. Okay, I had a truck. I get it. You like to be up where you look down on people. It's just fun. It's empowering. It is what it is. But man, we get at a light and a guy'd be sitting beside me revving his engine, and I'm like, oh yeah, power mode, let's go. And he would go, and I would just like zip, it's
Yeah.
gone because it's
People don't
electric.
realize.
The
Yeah.
torque is amazing.
Yeah, people do not realize the power that is in a Prius, especially when you put it in power mode. It will shock you off the
Incredible. Yeah,
line. And I love
I wasn't
driving it on
ready.
the highway and zipping past somebody. Man, you wanna piss a redneck off real quick. You just zip around them. Oh
Now,
man, good
I'm a
times.
redneck. I'm not that pissed off by it. I
So
think
am
it's
I, but
hilarious.
I love driving
Are
that
you a
thing and
redneck,
dude.
really?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I've drank my fair share of kegs in a in a barn.
RC Cola and a moon pie?
Been
No,
there.
it's Southern. Have you really?
That well, I've had it before, but that's
It's a
everything.
Southern thing, I think.
It
I
is.
think
I
moon
mean,
pies especially.
when I go home, I can drop into quite the hillbilly redneck accent for the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
part for northern Indiana. So, but yeah, I mean, especially even too when I go out and stay with my in-laws, like because
Hmm.
they live in the middle of the cornfield. So yeah, we get into all that kind of stuff. So I can change
Nice.
my when I get around certain people. If I get around a whole bunch of folks from the south, I'll
Hmm.
start talking with that accent.
Yeah.
And that's that's one thing when Corey would be on the phone talking to people for work and they would call in if they had an accent, she had to try really hard not to mimic the accent that they
Yeah.
had every time.
Yeah.
So
It's just so easy to adopt it, especially when especially if you have it in you, if that's where you came from.
right. Yep.
With me, I did a lot of public speaking when I was young, and I was a reader, so it kind of put you in a place where you want to learn to enunciate and pronunciate your words and
Mm-hmm.
just get all the syllables you can. And just in the jobs that I worked, it was better. Just you didn't want people coming into your house to work on your electrical, just going, well, where's your lights hooked up? You know where your breaker box is? And I did, and I sounded like that. And I remember one of my boss or coworkers, he's like, no, you could sound a little less redneck and you'd be all right. And I started it, and I think I was 16 or 17, and started trying to enunciate all of my words, sir. But I like, especially if I pull out my chainsaw, it's gone. I'm mush mouth at that point. You can barely understand me. Used to be in my truck every time on my tractor. Yeah. If
Yep.
I'm on the tractor, Marnie needs a translator. She will come up and she'll go, you got to get off that thing if you want to talk to me. You can't, I don't know what you're saying. Oh, come on, baby, get up on the tractor. We go home. Come on. What? Stop. She
That's
loves it though.
funny.
She loves it. She loves my
Well,
tractor. She thinks my tractor's sexy, right?
there you are.
Yeah.
Well, so going back to the Prius real quick.
Mm.
So a show that I watched on Netflix is the Rust to Riches.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that.
and I don't know if I told the story or not, but basically they got a hold of a Prius and they traded it to a girl, to this like really awesome lady who wanted something very unique. She had a Ducati, and that's what they wanted. They
Mm.
wanted Ducati because
Yeah.
they wanted the Hayabusa engine out of it. And so, or no, sorry, it was the yeah, that's what it was. So anyway, they fixed this car up. It looked like a fighter jet engine. It was super awesome, man, what they did to it. I mean, and the guy from Rust to Riches, like he basically said, he's like, I love these Priuses because they have a secret weapon and they are fast, and people don't realize how fast they can be.
Mhm.
And so he wanted to make the outside of the car look as fast as it can go, type of deal, which was
Sweet.
really neat. And this lady like traded them for like straight up trade, no cash changed, for this Hayabusa that they basically used as a pairing with this other car, this concept car that they were building. But it was just funny. It's like, dude, you trade a Prius for a Hayabusa engine in this car and this motorcycle. That is a flipping trade right there, y'all.
That is well done. You
Yeah,
are a skilled negotiator, sir.
very much so. Very much. Yeah. So speaking of tractors though, I actually acquired my very first riding lawnmower this weekend too.
I heard that. Well, you mentioned what it was that a friend gave to you. I would like to hear that story though, and tell us
Yeah.
what it is.
So it's a Snapper Z like 1803K. Basically, it's this riding lawnmower. It's a zero turn riding lawnmower, but it doesn't have the bar that comes across your lap where you can like pull one way, pull the other
Oh,
way, and
okay.
it
All right.
spins. It runs off a joystick. It's like playing an
Mhm.
Atari game. So literally,
Oh.
like you sit in this chair, you grab the joystick with your right hand and you pull up on it, which then like releases it, and then you just push forward, push back, or turn it around,
And
and it does everything.
all right,
And
all right. You're
it's
gonna have
cool.
to send my wife a picture of that and say, Danny said that he would die if he doesn't get one of these. And I think he meant it because that's a joystick, man. That's because you said that it doesn't have the two bars. So I'm like, oh, that's
Nope.
sad. I love the two bars, like driving a tank, it's
Yeah.
like just everything. But the joystick, man, I'm sorry. That's like a fighter jet. You have upgraded, sir, from the two handles. That's
Yes.
amazing.
It
That's
is neat.
cool.
I've got to do some work to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, it needs like tubes in the front tires, which is no big deal. But
Mhm.
the PTO that runs the blades is
Yeah, yeah.
bad. And so
Oh,
I've got to
okay.
replace that. And I think I'm gonna have to replace the starter in it. All these things combined though, like it's not bad. Like
I was going to say that shouldn't be too bad to replace the
no,
PTO, is it?
it won't be too
Mechanically?
bad. Yeah, it's not gonna be bad. But and my buddy was like, honestly, he's like, I was gonna charge. He's like, I was gonna like say, hey, $250 and it's yours. He's like, but honestly, it's out of my garage and you're making my wife happy. So I
Oh,
honestly, I'm like, dude, we can
yeah.
trade back beer and bourbon. I don't care. Like,
Right, right.
like, whatever, dude. If you need something to do, just call me up. I'll come over and help you. We'll trade skills. I don't care.
Yeah, something. Labor,
So
nothing, anything, whatever you got.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, because he got the okay from his wife to buy a brand new zero turn. So he's
Hmm.
got one of those like I think he got a deal. I think he got his for like $4,000, so like a typically an $8,000 machine. It's like a
Wow.
Cub Cap or
Cub
whatever.
Cadet.
Cub
Cub
Cadet, yeah,
Cadet.
that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. That's a
So,
good brand. Good
but
brand.
it was taking up so much room. He was like, I got to get rid of this other one. I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up coming across it. So he brought it over, and we had a cookout and everything, and just hung out here on Saturday. So it was good to get to see them. But
Well,
yeah,
I've got my Troy built riding mower. It's just a standard,
yeah,
two blade 42 deck, but it's more than what I need even for this lawn that I've got because we've only got like a half acre. I don't think I could justify getting a zero turn unless we got to join a church with a big lawn.
yeah.
And then I'll go, Marnie, as part of our charity work, I should cut the grass at church. And I won't ever do it because there'll already be somebody doing it. But we won't tell her that. So this is why we're getting the zero turn. And she's like, does that thing never ever leave the yard? Oh, it doesn't have to. It just cuts from here. Look, the grass is cut. Somebody did it. It's great. We're
Well,
fine. Give me my zero turn with a
this
joystick. Oh,
this specific mower actually has the capabilities to put a blade on the front of it too.
what do you mean?
Like it has the ability to put an assembly for a blade on the front of it to push snow.
Oh, that kind of blade. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought
but
you were
for ins-
talking like Speed Racer, the
oh
Mach
no no
5,
no
two
no
just saw
no
blades just out the front or something. Like this cannot be possible.
no, because I was
But
asking
okay,
him.
so a
I was like,
snowplow, yeah.
yeah, because I was like, hey, can I attach an assembly to this to allow me to be able to like push snow or whatever, like for driveways and stuff? Because I mean, I'm not gonna be able to do a sidewalk, but can I do a driveway? And he was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, he's like, they built, you can get an assembly set that will allow you to put. I'm like,
Dang it.
that's sweet.
Yeah, I never even thought of that, man.
Yeah.
That because I got a snowblower, but man, I should have waited and got a man. Man, where were you like 2 weeks ago when I was
I don't
actually
know,
I
man.
called my father-in-law and I said, okay, so I like to shovel and I want all the kids will have shovels, and we're all good. So do I need a snowblower? And short answer, which he did not give me a short answer, but short answer was yes, you need a snowblower
Oh yeah, you do.
because what you want is you want to be able to fling that snow farther than you're going to throw it with your shovel. Because if you're just shoveling it to right here, it's just going to build up. It'll ice over. You get all no. get a snowblower, just take it all out and you'll be fine. You can still use your shovel. The kids can shovel and yada, yada. And so, yeah, so we
And
got one.
don't put it away when you think that you're going to put it away, because then it'll snow again and it'll be all your fault.
All right, so don't be the first one to put my
Do not be the first one. Yeah.
away.
Or you'll have Greg Clamp calling you. You'll have John Francis calling you, being like, who did it?
Like...
Keith Nagel, who did it? Who put it away first? That's going to be the conversation that's going to happen. Just so you're aware. Don't be that guy. I know you're the new guy. You're the new guy on the block.
I'm going to make all the stupid mistakes. I'm already looking at it going, oh, something's going to freeze up this weekend and explode, this winter and explode.
You're going to call somebody.
You know.
Drip. Yeah. Do you know the whole faucet drip thing that you're supposed to do when it's cold? You know how to do that?
Well, like dripping faucets inside.
Yes.
So your pipes don't freeze. Yeah, we did that in Georgia too. So.
Oh, okay.
But I'm thinking like I'm gonna forget. Like I don't know. I did the irrigation system. It's all drained out. It's all emptied.
Blown out. Yeah.
So it's all good. And then and we did that like 2 weeks ago. So it's I think it's good. I'm gonna double check everything. But yeah, and then the outside spigots. I'm assuming just a styrofoam pump on it and cover it up. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. You need to talk to those guys. You need to talk to those guys up north. We don't have to deal with so much. I mean, I live right on the cusp of the South right down here. And it gets cold for like 2 weeks and I can handle it because growing up in northern Indiana, but I mean, nothing compared to what y'all get. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but for some reason that area just pissed Jack Frost off something bad.
Right. and my father-in-law always said, you could make it through this first winter. It could be a light winter, but then you should wait until spring when they go on sale or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's all good ideas. And I said, but looking at the almanac and the Weather Channel, we haven't had a light year of snow in a while. And he looks it up. He's like, oh yeah, you got 46 inches of snow in 1 month. And I went, that's not possible. That's not even, that's a joke. That's a misprint. It's 4 to 6 inches in a month. There's no way. And he's like, oh yeah, it was 46. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, we're getting a snowplow. Or a snowblower. There's no chance.
Yeah.
That I'm going to deal with that.
When they use the Walmart parking lot to put snow from a dump truck, that's when you know you're in trouble, dude. And that's where you live, my brother.
Right.
That is where you live.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. I know it's going to be a pain. I know I'm going to make some mistakes. And I have already been kind of tapping the people that know around here, my neighbors and what have you. I'm like, okay, so what do I do about this? And most of the times they're like, oh, you actually don't know how to do that. I mean, because they're so familiar with it, they were talking about air conditioning on NPR today. Right? And on Wisconsin public radio, that is. And I went, oh, cool, air conditioning. I'd like to hear about that. And they're, while I'm making breakfast or whatever for the kids, whatever we're doing, get ready. And they were like, yeah, yada, yada, this. And I'm like, okay. And then the people started calling in and they were all old time farmers. And they were just like, no, air conditioning makes you lazy. I worked in 3 different factories going through my life, and we never had air conditioning. Yeah, it gets hot, but you just open the doors, open the bay doors, and everything's fine. And I'm like, all right, I disagree with you, sir, but I agree with you too. Absolutely, yeah. I'm not going to live without air conditioning. I grew up without air conditioning.
Fly on your jeans, and you just just
let it go,
every bit of ventilation you can get. Yeah,
it was great. It was great.
Man. Well, hey, we're coming up against the wall on things.
We are. Okay.
I will say this, since we've been talking about the fact that you're living in a new area with new eco, kind of just a whole new ecosystem for you and stuff. Anybody who's listening that can give Danny some advice about what he needs to be aware of, let's fill up the comment sections, let's fill up the message boards and things, and any other places. Leave us messages and let Danny know what he needs to know to survive his first winter up in the Great White North.
And let me tell you guys, I know this is going to be hard for you to do, but consider, talk to me like I'm a dumbass. I know it's going to be hard. I know you're going to be like, there's no way, Danny. I know you're not an idiot. But yes, go with all the little basics and then explain what you meant. Like, if you put a word in there that's like you expect to know exactly what it means, Danny doesn't know what that is.
Talk to him like he's Buddy the Elf.
Like he's an idiot. There you go, like Buddy the Elf. I love this place. I love it. Yeah, you're gonna die here. That's what it is. It's I'm looking at it going, I'm gonna die right here this winter. I can feel it. It's like, they're gonna find me frozen in the yard.
Don't eat the yellow snow, but it's lemon.
It is delicious. It's lemony.
Wow, I don't think I could have ever predicted that this is where the conversation would go tonight.
Or a heated car wash. Huh? What? Why? Because there's a bunch of salt on the road,
Just put
and
some.
you've got to get it off there. So you find a heated car wash was the answer. And I'm like, there's no such. You're crazy.
I will give you one. If you're going to park your car outside, get either one of those like things that you put over the windshield, you know, for like that will cover so you don't have to like scrape all of the snow off. Like it's usually like a thin
What?
cover or whatever. Or
No. Wait. What? No.
Yeah.
What?
There's like a cape
What?
that goes over the windshield.
On your car?
Yep. That goes over the windshield.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
You're playing me.
I'm not. And
Okay.
basically that way, when it snows, when you come out to your car, you just take that and pull it off, and it takes all the snow off, and you don't have to do as much work with it. Now, the other option is, and this is what we used to do in Northern Indiana, is that we would just go to the local carpet remnant store, and we would just get remnants, and we would actually place those on the windshield, and then you just pulled those off, and the snow came off with it. Huh. So there's a couple different. That was before they actually had this cape now that you could do, which basically like attaches to the side mirrors. But
cool.
That's my one.
I'm gonna have to get a car cape.
Yep.
No, actually, I'm parking my Suburban in here. We'll get a car cape for the Prius. It'll be fine. No, we're gonna find a way to put them both in the garage. They'll fit, I think. And
there you go.
So anyway,
good deal. All right, cool. Well, hey, hopefully next week we'll have some more exciting stories to talk to you about than this. Maybe we'll get a guest. I think we need to bring a guest on of some kind.
Sure.
I mean, we're getting close. You know what? We're getting close to HomeDadCon. Maybe we bring somebody on to talk about bourbon, since you and I are going to be driving the vans for the bourbon tour. That would be fun, right?
Yeah.
All right. That's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to get us a guest for next week, and we're going to talk bourbon next week. So that'll be fun.
Well, no promises. Don't anybody hold us to it. We're going to try to do.
I mean, I'm gonna try really hard.
Try really hard. Probably do it.
I've got some people. We'll see. So anyway, with that, y'all have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.